So in this video, I want to talk about letting go and why I always seem to come back to the idea of letting go whenever I'm having a difficult time in my life. And in this video, I just want to explain a few things by what I mean, what I mean by letting go, and why it's so powerful, and why I always seem to come back to it. Why it's always something that I sort of actively do. I don't seem to have a choice. I always get back to this place of like peace, I guess. And it always seems to be this feeling of I'm not in control. When we're resisting life, we may not realize we're resisting life, and it's suddenly that feeling of what am I doing? Why am I fighting this? And in that moment of realizing that, that's when you let go. It's almost like the realization is the letting go. So a long time ago, I read the book Letting Go by David Hawkins, and I did let go. Somewhere in that book, I realized that I was carrying all of this guilt, tension, excess pressure in my psyche, and suddenly, almost like I was just walking along, I felt this massive relief, like I'd taken off a backpack I didn't realize I'd been carrying for so long. And it's so fascinating because that is what letting go is. And it's very difficult to understand what really that is. Seems to be this sort of emotional pressure that I was carrying, maybe guilt, but just the realization that I was carrying it was a big step in me was a big step to actually helping me let go. So I think of letting go, like the first step then, is realizing that you're probably clinging to something. There may be tension in your body now when you're listening to this. You may be in the future. You may not be present. You may be projecting something you're slightly nervous about, some kind of outcome. Like you're not going to the gym enough, or you're not progressing in your career, or you should be saving money. You should be doing that. Some kind of should. I should be doing this. I put off making this video because I felt that pressure. So I just went inside, I looked inside, and I locate that pressure, and I think, what am I holding on to? What am I resisting? And then I think that what comes out then is that kind of perfectionism. So I want to go into that a little bit here. And that for me is what letting go is. And you can tie that to everything. Procrastination, ambition, feeling like you're stuck in life. Maybe you're chasing some girl or guy, they're not texting back. I guarantee that if you understand letting go, and once I did, it makes it a lot easier. And I'm still working on this. I'm not by any means perfect at this, but like I said in the beginning of the video, it always comes back to this feeling. It always comes back to this idea that we're mentally projecting into something that we can't quite get to. So the idea then is to just let go. So what is letting go? What is it? And I can't really say I know. I think it's got something to do with our expectations and being present and this tension in the body. But I'll give you an example, and then I'll develop that idea. On the way to work the other day, I just felt stressed. And I was in a traffic jam, and I was thinking about the day ahead, thinking about all the things I had to do, all of these little to-do things I had to do, people I knew I had to have conversations with. And I was in a traffic jam on my motorbike. It's hot. But I'm not really there. I'm not really in that traffic jam. I'm in my head. And someone kind of cuts in front of me. That annoys me. And it's just all of this excess pressure that I'm feeling. Now, the reality is, like I said, I'm in a traffic jam on my bike. So what can I do? The light's red. Can I jump the light? Okay, maybe I can. Or I can just sit there and take in what I'm doing. So letting go is realizing you don't have much control. It's being where you are. All of that mental projection was giving me this tension. All of these conversations, I weren't having them then. I was in a traffic jam. They were mental projections. They were illusions. And yet they were being stored in my body. And I was doing that by physically tensing up. And I think we all do this. So there's probably these pressures you're feeling. Are you where you need to be? Do you have enough money in the bank account? In your bank account? That probably weighs on your mind. You may be single and you're thinking, I need to get a partner. Everyone I know is in a relationship. Why am I not in a relationship? That's hanging over you. Am I further enough in my career right now? I should be more ambitious. I should go to the gym more. And why is letting go then the answer? It's realizing that where you are is where you need to be. That's it. And we don't like that because we think that it's our ambition that gets us the partner. It gets us further along in the career. It's our ambition that drives us to go to the gym. When really, it isn't. It's probably that's the thing that's stopping us. Those mental projections and those shoulds, you should be doing this, you should be further ahead in your life, you should have more money. That's what's causing that tension. That's what was causing that tension while I was in that traffic jam. So to do full circle then, and to go back to actually what I'm talking about here, is to realize letting go is realizing you don't have control. You just show up in the moment. You can make plans, of course, but then you just react. But it's a place of reaction that isn't emotional. It's from a place of observing. That's what detachment is. If you're constantly trying to control the environment, you're not in a state of letting go. You're always in this state of fight or flight. This should be going this way. This should be going that way. This person should be reacting. Or fear. How are they going to react? What if I go and speak to this girl and I tell her I find her attractive? You're always in that tense state that's in your solar plexus. You're not letting go because you're trying to control some outcome, which you can't do. You don't have any control over the outcome. This is the key. This is the key to life. This is why meditation is so important. But that's why realizing at any given moment, where am I? What am I doing? What am I resisting? These are very important questions. And this is how you let go. But there is one final step to letting go. Because if you're meditating and you're doing all this, and you may have these realizations, and you do let go, you do. When I read David Hawkins' book, Letting Go, I did feel a massive cessation of pressure, and it felt like I was on drugs for a couple of weeks. It wore off, funnily enough. But I think what happened was my mind just kicked in again with all of these pressures and these shoulds, and I didn't really know how to regulate that. But the point I'm making now is that, well, you have to come to a point where you realize that you don't have much control. In fact, you'd have very little control, and that's okay. But the final part of letting go, and now I've just remembered, the final part of letting go is realizing that you probably won't let go. You probably won't. And be okay with that. That's how you let go. So it's a paradox. And that's the essence of Zen, right? That's where it gets like tricky. Because it's almost like we build up all of this stuff, then we let go. We build up all of this stuff, then we let go. I build up all of this ambition and should be going to them, should. And I get to a certain point, I build up a lot of momentum. I miss a couple of days, I'm hard on myself. And I find it really hard to go because I'm hard on myself. Like I'm putting all of this expectation on some outcome. When all I need to do is just show up and go. So again, that's why letting go is so powerful, because what you're doing is you're letting go of outcomes. You're letting go of the idea that there is some standard that you need to live up to. You can just live your life. You can just show up. There is no standard. That is ironically, well, paradoxically, how you handle discomfort, how you're much easier. It's much easier to face discomfort if you don't put pressure on yourself. Because the thing itself, is never that bad. I think this is why we procrastinate. We make this mental calculation of how if it's worth it, right? Is it really worth the energy? Or can I just sit on the couch and watch on doom scroll and watch Netflix? Or can I go to the gym? Letting go solves that. Because it says there is nothing to achieve. You won't get better if you do this. Now you will, but if you're trying to achieve something within a couple of weeks of going to the gym, you won't. So you've got to let go of that. You've got to detach from outcome. Another way of saying letting go is detachment. And detachment doesn't mean apathy. That's the complete opposite. Apathy is when we are inside and we're trying not to feel anything. Whereas letting go is like saying, I'll just feel this. I'll feel this fear. I'll feel this fear and do it anyway. I'll go to the gym even though I'm feeling this. Let's see what happens. Let's just be like observing this emotion. And the same what I should have done when I'm in that traffic jam, which is exactly what I did eventually, was I can't control this. Let's just see what happens. Okay, the light's gone green now. I can drive. I don't have to have those conversations in the traffic jam. And this happens a lot because when we miss the gym or we're not where we are, we suddenly go, right, I need a plan. I need this. I need to do this. I need to fix this. I need to fix this. And you see the problem with that. You can't do it in the moment. You can only do so much in the moment. You can write a plan. Doesn't mean you're going to stick to it. Then you put pressure on yourself to stick to it. Then you sabotage because you haven't let go. You're forcing some outcome. Am I there yet? Am I there yet? Still hasn't happened. See, told you, all of this effort. And that's it. And that's why letting go is the key to life. And it's subtle. It's really fucking subtle. And we're all doing it. We're all conditioned to willpower through, discipline through. Before making this video, I don't have a plan. I don't know what I'm going to say. And I'm playing it in my head on the way back from the shop to make this video. And I'm getting stressed because I'm like, what if I don't say it properly? What if my point doesn't come out? What if nobody watches it? And that's the point I'm making. You need to let go of that. Just make the video. Just go to the gym. Just go speak to the girl. Just apply for more jobs. Or don't. If you don't do it, be okay with that as well. Whatever you're doing, you don't want to resist what you're doing. Just notice the resistance. That's letting go. It's tricky, but it's the key to life. Either do it or don't do it. And now maybe you're going to think, okay, so what do I do now after this video? Subscribe if you haven't done that yet, please. Comment. And yeah, you can read Letting Go by David Hawkins. But I promise you, this is more felt. This is more of an experience that you need to have. And you probably have felt this. Maybe you've been out. Maybe you've been to a party. Let's use the party example. Everyone's talking, everyone's a good time, and you just don't feel like you're fitting in, maybe. And you're forcing it, you're having these conversations. And you're trying. And everything feels off. And then suddenly you have this moment of, fuck it. I don't want to be here. I'm done with trying. I'm just going to go home. And in that moment, when you stop trying and you let go, you're just about to leave, you bump into someone you know, and you just have this amazing conversation. Because you take away all the pressure. That's letting go. That is letting go. That is letting go. It's very subtle. So what is it? And I think it's got something to do with, like, I talk about parts work a lot. It's protection. It's some kind of image that you're trying to protect. When you realize that you're trying to uphold you're trying to preserve some sort of self-identity, ego, and you're attached to that, and you're hoping it goes a certain way. You're hoping it goes a certain way. When I make these videos, I hope I get the point across. And then I don't actually make the video. I sit there and like tense. And I think, I've got to get my tripod out. I've got to charge my laptop. You know, all of these things. I'm not thinking about just doing the video. I'm too busy in my head worrying what you guys are going to say, what you're going to say, or whether anyone actually watches it. So I think, okay, there's no point. This is procrastination. When I let go and just think, okay, I'm just going to make a video. Let's see what happens for the sake of making a video. The action itself, it goes well. That's letting go. That's letting go. We really don't have much control. In fact, I don't think we have any control. And I think that when we just do let go, it's almost like, now you could be religious. You could be an atheist as well, and it still works. Let's say if you're an atheist, we'll just say the universe just has a sort of a flow to it, a current. And we don't really want to get in the way of that. We don't really want to swim upstream. We might as well just go with it. A lot of us don't like that. We like to be in control. But the more that you go with the flow of life, the more control you have, ironically, paradoxically. And it's just so true. The more you resist and fight, like let's say you're just going for a breakup and you're fighting against it, like, no, this cannot be the end. You're suffering and you're fighting against life. The opposite of that is like, okay, I accept it. I'm going to feel this pain. It's difficult. And that's when you go with the flow of life. That's when you meet someone you should be with. And you realize, why was I worried about that person? So my practical tip on letting go. Meditation's great. But realize when you're resisting. Like, that's what you have to realize. What am I resisting? What do I not want to happen? That's a great question for procrastination. What am I protecting myself from? What am I afraid is going to happen? And you'll find that when you don't do things and you are procrastinating, or you do feel stuck, that the reality of where you are isn't actually that bad. And that you're projecting mentally and you're tensing. So letting go isn't just this mental projection, it's physical as well. I swear, it's something inside of you where you are. Whenever I let go and I do these meditations, I feel light afterwards. I feel like I'm in my body. I feel loose. I feel like I want to dance. I want to sing. I just feel like I'm alive. It's amazing. I can just go talk to people. Letting go is a beautiful thing. So it could be something physical, spiritual, philosophical, and psychological. But let's just finish on a practical spiritual tip. See what you're resisting. What agenda do you have about a situation? How do you want it to go? How do you want someone to react? What are you worried about them thinking? Get into these questions. And then ask yourself, can I handle that? Is that really that bad? Why am I resisting that? You don't need to do deep shadow work questions on this. You just need to see what you're resisting. And you'll find that it's probably something to do with some kind of identity or some kind of protection that you're doing. Because this is what we're doing. We want to be safe. There's a part of us inside of us, all of us, that is just looking for safety. It wants to be congruent to that safety. Congruent to our identity. Anyway, I'm going to end the video now. That's great. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, subscribe, like the video, and go to this video here. I don't know what this video is going to be, but it's probably on the same topic, so enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.